Thank you for your interest in applying for a grant from the Wege Foundation. To assist you in this process, we have created a brief tutorial that will guide you through our grant application procedure. In this tutorial, I will cover essential topics including the Wege Foundation's pillars, values, and priorities, our diversity, equity, inclusion policy, and how to use the required project budget template. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize a few important points. For returning grantees, this will act as a refresher, and there have been some minor changes. For organizations new to the foundation, we hope that you find this information beneficial. Now let's get started. A common question we receive is how to secure funding from the Wege Foundation. The key takeaway is that grant awards are based on alignment with our values and priorities, which you can find on our website. We prioritize transparency so you can clearly see what we fund there. Additionally, please note there are only 2 grant application cycles each year, one occurring in the spring and one in the fall. The exact dates for when the grant cycle will open and close will be posted on our website several weeks prior to the grant application opening. Applications will not be accepted outside of these windows, and you will not be able to access the application until the grant cycle is open. The first step is to visit the Wege Foundation's website and click on Seeking a Grant. This section contains all the information you'll need, including the specific dates of when the application cycle opens and closes. You will also find details on our values and priorities, our diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, and the project budget template. Please note that using our project budget template is a requirement, and we will discuss that further in this presentation. Links to all of these documents can be found on the Seeking a Grant page. We will begin by reviewing the values and priorities document. At the top, you will find the 4 pillars. The document outlines our values, which apply to all of our pillars. In this section, please concentrate on how your project aligns with these values, rather than simply restating your organization's beliefs. We want to understand the actionable steps related to these values and how they are incorporated throughout your project and organization. Remember, when crafting the narrative for your grant application, it's important to clearly express how the work of your organization aligns with one or more pillars of ours and how they manifest in your projects. Next, you'll see the pillars and their respective priorities, which are outlined here for you with relevant example grants that represent recent projects we have funded that align with those priorities. Now let's return to our webpage. The second document you'll find is our diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, other words, our DEI policy. As part of the application process, we will ask you to provide your organization's DEI policy. We will also ask about various aspects of the DEI, such as your board membership, staff, and volunteers, and how inclusion is integrated into your project or organization. Now let's return to the webpage. The third document provided is a project budget template that organizations are required to use. We ask that only the requested funding be outlined using our project budget template. Please do not submit your own organization project budget. Even if the funding that you are requesting is for general operations, we ask that you use a project budget template to outline what operational expenses you anticipate using these funds towards. For previous grantees, please be informed that we have removed the revenue section from the project budget. We will request this information to be included in the actual grant application. Separately, we will ask for your overall organization budget, which does not need to be transferred into this template. Please note that the budget template is locked. The blue cells are where you will type your information, and the gray cells will calculate automatically. Because you cannot insert new line items, there are some extra blank lines available for additional items, and whatever doesn't fit can be listed in the note section at the bottom, along with any additional comments you may have regarding your budget. If the grant application is for a single year, only complete the year 1 column. For multi-year grants, fill out each column corresponding to every year. The budget template should align with the budget narrative portion of your grant application. so both documents reflect the same amount. In the project expenses, please clearly specify how the Wege Foundation grant funds you are requesting will be used. For instance, if payroll totals $100,000, but you are requesting only $25,000 from the Wege Foundation, that is the amount that you should enter. The allocated by Wege Foundation column should equal the total amount of your funding request. This will automatically be calculated at the bottom of the template and should match what you have entered here at A15. Now let's return to the web page. The next section on our website outlines the application process, and a sample application is provided via this link. It is important to know that organizations do not need to hire a consultant to complete our application process. Our program staff are available to answer any questions you may have about completing the grant application. We seek to ensure the application is equitable and barrier-free, allowing individuals to apply without incurring additional expenses. To further improve our processes, we welcome your feedback and encourage organizations to complete the anonymous survey we distribute after the application window closes. The link to the application will be posted on our website here once the cycle opens. When you begin, the application can only be accessed through this link and cannot be found in your grant portal account. Once you click this link, it will take you to the landing page, which prompts you to sign in. If you don't have an account yet in the system, please click Create an Account and follow the instructions for setup. Once logged in, click Start a New Application. Then you'll select your organization if you have applied before, or click Add New Organization. If you have not applied in our system before, you have the option to search the IRS database or enter an organization name manually if you can't find it there. Once you are linked to your organization, you will see the application on your dashboard and will click Open Application. You will then be taken to our eligibility quiz, which must be successfully completed by both new and returning applicants to continue to the grant application. Please note that all capital campaigns must be LEED certified. However, if your grant request is not for a capital campaign, you must answer yes on the quiz to proceed to the application. Once in the application, you will start on the introduction page, which will provide information on applying, as well as links to necessary resources like our budget template, DI policy, and values and priorities. You may navigate through the application and return to this page at any time by using the navigation bar on the right side of the screen. Your application can be seen automatically saving in the lower left corner of your screen as you work, and will say all changes saved. However, you are also able to click the Save and Come Back Later button at the bottom of the screen. You will be able to access your draft application again through your portal account if you need to come back at a later time. There's also an option to flag this step for yourself to remember to come back to the page at a later time. It is important to thoroughly read the instructions and examples. Organizations may identify with only one pillar in the application for their project. However, if there is an overlap with another pillar, you can describe it in the narrative. Please provide no more than 3 objectives and no more than 3 outcomes per objective. If you have fewer measurable outcomes or objectives, that is fine. Objectives should be composed of 1 to 2 sentences at most. Your outcomes should be stated in a single sentence with measurable criteria included. If outcomes involve increases or decreases, please provide the relevant baseline and specific measures for these changes. Due diligence is built into the Foundation's grant review process to address any questions or clarifications needed regarding your proposal. Each submission is evaluated on its own merits, so there is no standard amount we fund. The requested amount should reflect your organization's needs. Additionally, there is no maximum or minimum for administrative fees, but it's essential to present a realistic funding request. Unreasonable amounts may prompt questions or concerns regarding your pending proposal. Additionally, once your application is submitted, your grantee portal permissions will be updated once staff begin processing the application to allow you to enter or review your banking details in your portal account. Lastly, here are some final general notes on our processes. Any overdue reports from previous grants must be completed before new funding will be approved. Therefore, please contact your program officer if you are unsure about your report deadlines or have concerns. If you are awarded funding and over the course of your project encounter issues, leadership transitions, or anticipate you would not spend all of the funds awarded, please inform us before your final report rather than waiting until the end. If you are a previous grantee, expanding programming is not required when submitting a renewal application for the same program. Organizations may apply for more than one grant in a single cycle or calendar year. While organizations may occasionally utilize a fiduciary or fiscal sponsor, this is only for specific cases, such as when organizations do not have their 501c3 determination yet. The organization acting as a fiduciary will be responsible for actually submitting the grant utilizing their 501c3 status and responsible for overseeing the requirements related to the grant. Therefore, you should be prepared to provide an MOU outlining the partnership, and we'll reach out to you during our due diligence process when you apply. We do offer multi-year grants and operational funding, typically to organizations that we have an established partnership with. However, each proposal and organization's needs are considered on a case-by-case basis, and we are happy to discuss that with you. If your proposal is not funded, you may seek feedback on the reasons or reapply in the future. The application is open for several weeks, so please give yourself plenty of time to complete it, especially if you are collaborating with your team, because once the application closes, we cannot reopen it. A designated program staff member will be assigned to you to ensure accessibility for any questions or concerns. We're also available to assist you with any technical concerns within your application or grantee portal. If you have questions, feel free to contact us at 616-957-0480. I hope you find this information helpful. Have a great day.